So, what's up? What's up, Kayla Nicole? Yes, I did a little digging. I did a little research to try to understand what bus you got off of. What feminine womanhood college did you get your papers from? And when I say what bus you got off of, was it the short bus, the long bus, or was it the church van? Was it the semi? Because whatever bus it was, you thought it was going to continue to keep rolling with Kansas City, Travis, Kelsey. On again, off again relationship for 5 years. But now look. He's just giving it all, giving his all to Taylor, giving the energy to the Swifties and making them happy. While you was busy, Kayla Nicole, prancing, performing, being the beautiful woman that you are, and thinking what you got to offer as far as looks, and that you can swing your hair back and forth, having your own money, talking about being an independent woman. But sometimes being a placeholder as an independent woman, when you're doing that talk, it goes into a man's mind, especially when he's already mega established financially and can have any woman basically that he chooses to. Not only that, when a woman, I'm not saying that Kayla doesn't have standards, but for what she allowed for those years, and then how she's acting out now, penning letters to Black women and having a right to choose, having a right to be heard, to love herself. It's like when things don't go accordingly for some women, then they got to go through the pick-me-up phase as if it was your fault. As if it was you're at fault that it didn't work out. You have to make this apology to yourself, to other women, to let them know that there is life. You have to talk openly about possibly going to therapy, encouraging others to go to therapy when a long-term relationship didn't quite work out and it was so public. But then sometimes women will dumb themselves down and then talk to someone else as a get back. And this one is just like you wind up with somebody that has nothing to offer. That's all about play, fun and games, no maturity level, nothing to look forward to. They may be riding the coattail of maybe a famous, well-known, established relative, but the person may feel, hey, if this person can still possibly get me inside of the in parties, to be around the in crowd, to still rub elbows with possibly coming up off of another man to meet, or to be around those women that I was once friends with, to let them know I'm still holding it down. Honestly, you start making yourself look desperate. Because during those 5 years, when you had those contacts and you go on an interview and still talking about, I want to meet maybe a possible record executive. I want to meet someone with money. Well, you did that. Don't you know sometimes the ones with the money, the men with the money that women sometimes have this fantasy desire to want to meet, is the ones that can be the most stingiest. Like you're giving your all in all, trying to prove yourself, to say, well, you know, I have money too, and I make money. Yeah, all that, I make money too. And next thing you know, he's talking about a 50-50. We can go half. And he doesn't help any to make you even feel even more embarrassed when these such allegations are brought up, all things alleged, just my opinion. But Travis goes on an interview and doesn't even try to take up for you. He's just making it sound like, well, yeah, she has her own money, and don't think I've been in this relationship for these 5 years with her and I didn't give her $100 here and there. That made that woman look pitiful. So then you hear her, in another interview that I did post when I did cover her and Shantel about she'll never do anything for anyone free. She said, well, never. I don't want to say never, but I have to be on payroll. This guy asked me to help to decorate his house. Now, he could have been the one. But you said because you're not on payroll, therefore, like, that lets people know that you have actually had some sorrowful situations where you may have felt taken advantage of because you already didn't have your standards in place. Ladies, don't go into a relationship or learn from a relationship or listen to the elders who does have some form of wisdom to impart. I'm not saying all elders do. But there is a level of standards that I think that we should be able to hold ourselves with regards to. I think a lot of times too, people will show you who they are early on if you're not blinded. If you're not caught up in the circle of the who's who and thinking, well, I'm just going to be this place holder. I'm going to play my position and maybe eventually I'll get my chance. Because see, now we're hearing things like he's going to purchase this home for him and Taylor, allegedly, for over $5 million for them to spend more time together exclusively, kind of like a little hideout just for the both of them. Now, yes, Taylor, she is that woman. Yes, she has the money, but that doesn't mean that that is all that it takes to be in a relationship to keep a man. Yes, it has to work. Yes, you have to have some type of chemistry. And sometimes you never know, managers, agents, branding people, marketing people, people behind the scenes will put people in situations to be in a relationship to say, hey, this is the one that you really need to be in. This is the one that would take your brand over and beyond. Versus, you got the little butterfly bopping around who doesn't have a care in this world, who just wants to show her body about how fit she is. And Lord knows, hey, while you got it, show it if that's what you want to do. Because Lord knows looks do fade. But that personality, that person being of character, what you're about, what you two have to offer of each other, if it is real in a relationship, because by that age, you would think it would be a mature situation to say, hey, this is what I want, or no, this is not what I want. This is continuously being very toxic for me. But Kelsey, she never really did. Kayla Nicole, all these names, my gosh. But Kayla, to my knowledge, never really came out to esteem herself in a way to love herself. She esteemed herself in a way to say, I still want that lifestyle that I became so accustomed to. Some people can sometimes go into a really odd depression because it's like there one day and the next thing you know, it's gone, and they still didn't have a chance to accomplish whatever they thought they were going to by tomorrow. You can honestly become a placeholder to think, well, maybe tomorrow will be the day. Now, maybe, it was headline grabbing attention about this $100 with Travis saying, hey, I was giving her $100 every now and again. I know sometimes how the narrative can be switched, and before you know it, you're involved in these headlines thinking, isn't this a shame? But still, I just feel like the way he handled it just wasn't on the up and up. I think Kayla thought in her head too that she was a prize. I think she still comes off like she is a prize and doesn't have a care in this world other than being the prize, and that any man that is to get her should be happy, should be thankful. Like she is God's gift to the world. To me, it just seems like the typical, if you hang out in the Hollywood circle, if you're on that scene, if you're into dating athletes, or, she mentioned something about a record executive. Like basically, don't go for the artist, go for the one who's behind the scenes making the money. It doesn't have to be somebody who is playing the game in the front. It could be possibly the coach. Now I'm just talking when I say this, or it could be like the team owner. So it sounds like to me she's trying to elevate herself into another realm to think more money to be able to compete with Taylor Swift and Travis, yeah. Like I said, it's just so many names to keep up with. But I think it is so important to take a mental note that, ladies, a man who is in love with you will spoil you rotten. And he can't spoil you rotten. And if he can't, he would at least minimum give you the shirt that is on his back. He will make you feel at least secure to know that we are together. You are the one. If I don't have it, he can be upfront enough to let you know that he doesn't have it without being stingy, without making a fuss or spectacle out of, well, can't you pay for it? Don't you have it? I'm not saying that's how it was going, but it just seems like, before you know it, somebody is watching your money more than what you watching, and then they expect for you to put out, when it comes to, well, can't you get the food this time? Well, can't we go half on it? Or maybe they feel like, well, shoot, we both got to eat, so why should I have to pay for it every time? I'm not saying that a man has to pay for it every time, but I think that is important as women, that we do have to have even discernment when it comes to dating. Nobody wants to be used. Nobody wants to be in it for the long haul and still come up with a major disappointment. I mean, there's a lot of people out here who cannot keep their word. You know what? Let's focus on the ones who can keep their word when they really do say they appreciate you, when they really do say that they adore you, that you are their friend. Like nowadays, to even take the title of a friend is so lightly taken. A friend defends. A friend is loyal. A friend is there to be with you through thick and thin, and to tell you the truth, even when it hurts, because there's a way to communicate. You don't have to throw things up in people's faces. You don't have to make things worse. You don't have to dangle money. But I think sometimes when people think they got money, sometimes their head might start hurting. They might develop a mental state of being insecure, like, oh, everybody's using me. I have family using me. I have friends using me. I feel like this girl might be using me too, even though she might make her own money. But she is beautiful. She could leave me in any given moment. But at the same time, the way I'm going to play this is I'm going to spend her money if I don't have to spend mine. And, they do say that money a lot of times is the number one reason why some couples do tend to break up. But nobody, I don't think, wants to be a professional placeholder in life. But again, womanhood, having discernment to know when a man is being real with you, because there's a playbook sometimes that men will go by. It's a playbook sometimes that women will go by. The best thing to do, be yourself, keep yourself safe, and learn to have quiet time to listen to yourself, to know, discern what is best for you with that relationship. And when it is time to cut it, if that time comes, cut it, and try not to make yourself an obvious situation to the public. I think it just gets worse. It gives people more fuel to even talk about. I'm not saying that Taylor is enjoying this. No, because that would be wrong on her part as a womanhood to see another woman going through. But when women sit up there and put themselves out there, and how it just makes them look desperate, it does become fair game because it's in the public that you're giving attention to. People look and sometimes can't help but comment. Ooh, social media, the power of it is no joke on how you want to be remembered from that last post, because even when something is taken down, somebody always manages to screen grab it. So again, what bus? Short bus? The semi truck, the dump truck. What is the choice, that women want to make, and still having that soft life too? Soft life, but knowing your self-worth, knowing your value.